to get the private sector to contribute to economic development for the city of Calexico. Yeah, we would say, yeah, the city of Calexico should be the one that provides most of the funds. But there is a small, but hopefully growing private sector out there that is willing to contribute. I mean, those of you that don't know me, I'm one of the principal partners in R.L. Jones. We're a customhouse corporate. I'd be more than happy to contribute to an economic development corporation if it's bringing in business. And I'd be more than happy to dedicate my time to go out and sell, to bring in business to Calexico, because it brings in business to my business. And like you said right now, what was it? It brings in salaries, it brings in income for the city. So, just like me, there's construction companies, there's accounting firms, there's attorney firms, there's architectural firms, engineering firms, etc., that want business, that will contribute. They don't necessarily have to be in Calexico. They could be in Raleigh, El Centro, but they get business out of the city of Calexico. They would contribute to this. So it'd be a way to bring in money so that Francisco's job would be more effective. We would tap into their experience. I mean, look at the experience. Right now we're going for Francisco because he's an economic development guy. But does he really have the private sector behind him telling him, educating him, teaching him what he should be doing, not doing, what he should be looking at? He's got all you guys. It's government. We're missing the private sector. We really are. I mean, I'm involved because you put me there, John, and I feel an obligation to you, to the city, and I'm there. But there's not very many of us that are participating. In Francisco, we've talked, there's a list of people that will contribute, that will be a part of this. It's just, I mean, all we need is time to go out and get involved. It would give the private sector a vehicle to sell their services and their community. Right now, the city is selling the city. We need the city to sell and us to be able to sell our services in our community, us being the private sector. How we would do this, and I think they gave a little presentation of this, so this would be real simple. Basically, we need the city to provide the seed money or the seed effort through facilities, staff support, and some monies. How much money? You know, that's for you guys to discuss with your city manager. And tell us how you want to participate. I mean, how much you want to help Francisco, and how much does Francisco have to go out and get? You know, and he's got the help of the students from San Diego State and maybe some staff support. We would form a board. The board would be formed by investors. Obviously, the city would be a very strong investor and would form part of the board. I think there's an item on the actual articles that we've read where the city manager, the mayor would be a co-chairman of the board automatically. And the board will be formed through elections by investors. The company would be autonomous from the city. That is the mayor would be there. There would be board representation of the city, but it would be autonomous. Results, I hope that if private industry is involved with Francisco's great plan that he's got, that we can get commercial, industrial activities that take advantage of opportunities that currently exist that aren't being taken advantage of because there's not much private sector involved. So, with Gil's presentation 2 weeks ago and my comments, I don't know if there's any questions or anything on the item that was tabled 2 weeks ago.
I don't think so, but I think it needs to be an action item at some time in the future is where it needs to go here.
And just a clarification point, the Economic Development Commission did come back in the 80s after the peso devaluation. And as executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, I was on it, so in the 80s. But I don't know what happened after that. But
yeah, it kind of came back, then it kind of went dormant, and then was brought back up.
I'd like to just comment on, I think Earl's brought in a lot of good points. I think we've talked about it before. You have to have the private sector involved. I mean, I led a regional EDC for a while, and that was the main purpose. The main concept that you had to get the private sector involved. Otherwise, it doesn't do very much. And you have to have them a lot of times in an honorary position, or whether it's they have to put in money as well, because it just, face it, our community doesn't have that abundance of private sector that can contribute to it. But it does have to have that liaison between the city and the private sector. And I think what Earl mentioned about maybe having the city's hand in the pot, if you will, as being an honorary position, being the mayor or whatever it turns out to be, I think gives that a model that's been successful in other areas. Because if you don't have the private sector driving it, it doesn't have consistency to it. It changes every time there's an election, and that's what you want to try to eliminate. You want to try to eliminate that political factor, even though there's well-intentioned people that run and that bring good concepts, they can incorporate it to the EDC, but not as the stewards of the program. It has to be followed through from the private sector. So that's one of the things I know I've made it public before, but the concept that Earl mentioned about having a co-chair being the elected position from the city and our participation, I think, is what's needed as getting it going.
Thank you.
And again, thank you, Don.
Yes.
12 years or 10 years or something on this commission, and that's really my recommendation to you guys is that you do form an EDC, because it really helps us.
You're quite so welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service, and you make a great planning commissioner, by the way. And to the newly elected city councilor, he's a very solid person, and he's the best TV guest I ever had. I used to have a TV show in Calexico, and I get calls about Earl Roberts saying, when is the guy coming back? Because he was fluent in Spanish and English, and we would go at it for, half an hour? Something like that.
He usually cut us off, and we'd still be talking.
We'd still be talking.
It's fun.
And you know what's important, John, it's important to mention, they don't get paid anything.
Yeah.
They do this because they believe that we have potential to grow and that they see some good to what they do, but they don't get paid for anything. So there's no benefits, nothing.
Thank you. Frank Salazar, Allied Waste, I understand you have a presentation. Show me the green.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Frank Salazar, the Imperial Communications Director for Allied Waste. I also have Enrique Ramirez, our Recycling Director for Allied Waste. I won't take up much of your time, but I want to thank the council for basically going into partnership with our city. And I have per contract, we have 3 scholarships that we want to give out today to 3 Calexico High School students, and we're doing the presentation right now.
Are they here tonight?
They are here. If I could have the 3 students come up here right now.
Forward, please.
Come forward, please. We have Alejandra Caldera.
I thought you could give like $100 or something.
I was done.
3-0.
Just don't deposit her, Alejandra. It's going to bounce right now. Jose Ismael Marquez. And the last one is going to be with Guillermo Burgos. Make all of this possible. Just basically let the community know that these kids, if you would see the applications that these guys did, it's, as a Calexico graduate, it's an honor to be giving these scholarships out. These kids have a bright future ahead of them. I mean, not to mention the GPAs and what they want to do in life, but I think they deserve a big round of applause because this is our future for Calexico. On behalf of our employees, thank you very much.
Can they tell us where they're going to be going? Can they tell us where they're going to be going?
UCSD, Berkeley.
Hey, all right.
Frank, and I'd also like to thank Allied Waste for starting a recycling program at Calexico High School this year. It's soon to be spread out to the other schools, protecting our environment. Thank you.
And we appreciate them being true community partners by supporting things such as scholarships, which are such a great need in our area here.
Jose, I just wanted to wish you luck. I'm a Berkeley grad, graduated in 98.
No, I'm not against you.
There are 5 other Berkeley grads in my family, and it would have been more, but my little sister decided to go to Santa Barbara, and she's now getting her PhD, her doctorate